Hello, good morning, students. Welcome to our this online class. Today, students, we are taking the last poem of our syllabus, that is Woman to Man. It is written by Judith Wright. So let's have a look about the poetess. Judith Wright is from Australia. This is about the poetess. Judith Arundel Wright, born in 1915, unfortunately died in the year 2000. During her lifetime, she has performed in many fields. She was an Australian poet, environmentalist, a campaigner for Aboriginal land rights. Aboriginals are the inhabitants of Australia who were there before the colonization. Born in Armidale, New South Wales, most of her early years were spent in Brisbane and Sydney. After the early death of her mother, she lived with her aunt and then went to New England Girls' School after her father's remarriage in 1929. She specialized in philosophy, English, psychology, and history at the University of Sydney. So these are the subjects of her interest. At the beginning of World War II, she returned to her father's sheep station to help because of the lack of labor that had resulted after the war. She was concerned about nature and the adverse effects that modernity was going to have on nature. These are her concerns. The Australian terrain began to change post-war and Wright wrote widely about it. She has authored several collections of poetry, including The Moving Image, Woman to Man, The Gateway, The Two Fires, Birds, The Other Half, Magpies, Shadow, and Hunting Snakes. These are the names of a collection of poetry. Being an activist, her poetry also reflects the tricky relationship between white settlers and the indigenous Australians, among other themes. In The Cry for the Dead, Wright examined the treatment of Aborigines and destruction of the environment by settlers in central Queensland from the 1840s to the 1920s. These are the several fields in which she has been interested in her life. Our poem is about the psychology of women. This poem, it presents the fear of a woman which she experiences at the time during the pregnancy and especially at the time of giving birth to a child. The woman, who is the mother, is anxious about her child and describes it as an eyeless laborer. Eyeless laborer is the term we will find in our text. This eyeless laborer grows inside the womb. Actually, it is the fetus. The fetus is shapeless and selfless as it is not yet formed and not taken its shape. The child has no identification, but the mother can feel a sense of closeness to the child in the womb. She is awaiting its day of birth, which is called the resurrection day in the poem. It will have its unique identity after the birth. The woman and her husband have not named the child yet. They both exist with the hope, they have a hope that the child would bring happiness and prosperity in their lives and would be the third member of the family. The blood's wild tree reflects the growing network of the arteries and veins in the embryo, the fetus, and then embryo. So the embryo will be called a wild tree. The intricate folded rose is in the miracle of unfolding from an undifferentiated mass of cells into a human being and shows the development of the heart. That's why it is called intricate tree, blood's wild tree. In the last stanza, she implores her husband to hold and comfort her as she feels apprehensive, as she is a little bit afraid of that moment. She is filled with fear and seeks reassurance from her companion. The blade serves the blade shivers tied to the mother as the umbilical cord is cut. She imagines all these things she will imagine, and also represents the fear of the mother about the birth. Childbirth can be dangerous and can be deadly too. The only way to create new life is to risk death, and therein lies the significance of the resurrection. The day of birth of a child is just passing through death, and after a successful delivery, a new life is given not only in form of the child but to the mother also. The child is considered as the question and the answer, as the maker and the made, as the hunter and the chase, we will see. Critical comments. So far as critical comments are concerned, we will find that the language of the poem is intricate but it is simple also. It reveals the poet's relief with elocution and contains poetic expression about womanhood. Though it is a little complex because of certain phrases, but if we can attach emotions and feelings of a pregnant lady, then these things will become very easy for us. It expresses feminine emotional responses, and it is a typical visual aid of a confessional poem, confessional poem, because the lady confesses, accepts her fear. The first stanza depicts the image of the embryo in the mother's womb, and stanza 2 extends the image by presenting parental love and affection. Stanza 3 depicts the development of the child and the mystery and secret of life, and the last stanza reveals the unique and intimate linkage between the mother and the embryo. On the one hand, the poem focuses on themes like love, conception, pregnancy, and childbirth. On the other hand, it refers to the identity crisis of Aborigines in Australia. So, this is, we can say, summary of the poem. In our next class, we will take the text of the poem and try to find out these things in our text. Till then, goodbye, students. Thank you very much.